Hey everyone, I'm Tassinix, and welcome to Plotting and Scheming, covering Season 51, 5 vs 5 Grand Arena Championship, Week 3. I am here in this Eve before Christmas Eve edition of the stream with my regular co-hosts, Dagger, TJ, Sasha Aisha, and Fatal. Gentlemen, it was a good week. Went 2-1. It was almost 3-0, and it was just in my hands. One error. We'll talk about it. A moment of pride, of arrogance, met with punishment. But yeah, otherwise, pretty smooth week. I know we've got a lot to talk about, so I won't get into details. But yeah, that was it for me. Dagger, how about you?
Well, I forgot to ask you the first time we tried doing this open, and this is not the first time we've tried this today, technically. Is your mic on?
Yes, I think it is. That's a reasonable question. Right. I'm not even mad. Fair question.
All right. No, my week was fantastic. I didn't even have to attack. Well, I mean, to be fair, I haven't had to attack fleets in like 2 months. But like, I didn't have to attack fleets. It was good. Mm-hmm. But I did have my first team defeated. First team defeated in like 2 months.
Wow. Were you able to get through the experience?
I already provided the meme in Scheme Team of what it looks like of us withering away as we're just dusting out because 2065. He'll show up on your doorstep. I'm here, guys.
It's the Captain America meme from the end of whichever Avengers that was.
That's it. Spider-Man fades away, and there goes Dagger.
Yeah. Fantastic. No, I told them this, and I'll tell the people listening this. In 2 more seasons, I should be really close to Kyber 1, if not in Kyber 1. So I'll be back in like 9 weeks, 9 rounds.
Yeah, we'll see you in time for St. Patty's Day.
Eat shit.
Yeah.
Of 2027.
You can also eat shit.
All right, TJ, how about you? How was your week?
That was good, man. 2-1. And we'll talk about why I say this, but man, Carthrick just wrecked me with the new crons. He earned his way with his wallet, and I respect it, sir, because I got my ass handed to me because I was not prepared for what was coming.
Very fair. Very fair. All right, Sasha Aisha, how was your week?
Good. We had a legit top bracket, 8 really good players, and I went 3-0. So I won the bracket, which was nice. Had some really good battles, and yeah, it was a nice end to a fun season.
Man, that's fantastic news. All right,
really quick. History's not out, Sasha. So how about you tell us just give us the names of who you beat this week?
Sure.
Okay, so let's see. This week I had Aesop, I had Cyrus, and then I had Partik. That was the one where he did not end up attacking. Aesop, Cyrus, and Partik.
Gotcha.
That is a murderer's row.
That it is.
Yeah, it was a good group.
All right, well, Fatal, how about you? How was your week? I know you were just wrapping up stream here moments before we got started.
Yeah, 3-0. It was a boring week. I didn't think through the actions and consequences of last week, because I went into Ahsoka's launch event thinking, CG did this post where they're like, "Hey, we're making all these events simmable," and one of the events was Galactic Legend Ultimate Journey is now simmable, and I was like, "Oh, that means we'll be able to sim the Jill event stuff. Cool." And that just wasn't true. So when it was Ahsoka launch day, I chose between do I want to play GAC or do I want to test Ahsoka? And, I assume we'll talk about this later, but the way Ahsoka's release has gone without the Omicron, she isn't really a team. So I threw my GAC rank to do some testing that made her look bad. And then, in so doing, missed out on the chance to actually get to fight a real Ahsoka. So maybe not the best string of choices and consequences, but yeah, 3-0.
Sorry to hear that. Yeah, that is unfortunate to miss that chance. All right, guys.
What I can provide to the conversation is that Bo-Katan Mandalore beats a Relic 3 Ahsoka with 2 Zetas. So look forward to that in your future matches.
Yeah. Probably seeing a lot of that next season, I'm sure, up in the top 50. But I saw you do that, and it's cool conceptually that it works. Before we get too much further, I'm curious. You think that's actually got legs against a proper one?
I still don't really have a good read on Ahsoka because, she doesn't operate all that well in Squad Arena, and then Yeah, I got him. Not trying to get too out of the topic here, but it feels like the TW Omicron's very good team, right? There's some good ass Omicrons.
This is an organic, entrance into the topic because that is our first agenda here under the meta matchups is how we dealt with Ahsoka. So the fact that you were able to take care of like a relatively under-relic one with only a couple of its Zetas.
I don't imagine that Bo-Katan will do well. Just because, whether we're talking about Fulcrum 9 or not, I would imagine that there's going to be more damage pressure under a proper team. But yeah, really, the story is the Ahsoka squad that I fought today. I would have to double check the Zetas that they were missing, but the first ult is really just the major question of, yes, Bo-Katan does get to do her first combo, and I was kind of eyeballing them because it's a squad that can kind of operate just on basics and still actually be pretty okay. When you abstract out what Bo-Katan does, most of the time, if it's not like a Lord Vader that just like gets you to end game state immediately, a lot of Bo-Katan fights, you do your combo and then everyone's just on basic for 3 turns. So if you can get to the gameplay flow where, oh no, my coolers are increased, but I already did my rotation, so I'm just chilling here with the Ancestral, just waiting to take turns again. Not too much changes, but I think from a lot of the Ahsoka gameplay that I saw, it really truly just kind of seems like the Ezra show, and I don't know if chilling up basics for 3 turns per character while Ezra's biting at your ankles seems as sustainable.
Right. Okay.
If the squad was percent health resistant rather than just fucking Bo-Katan Mandalore, it's probably a different conversation because a lot of Ezra's output is just from throwing percent health at you repeatedly. But yeah, Bo-Katan is not that squad. They don't do that.
All right. Well, appreciate you answering that. So yeah, Ahsoka's this week. So my first round was an Erodium. My second round was an opponent who had neither Balin nor Ahsoka. So pretty straightforward. And then third round here was against Barator. He did have Ahsoka set in the back. How did he do that? Yeah, he had his Fulcrum with Rey, but he didn't have it concentrated in there. I want to say it was the Galactic Legend Ahsoka level 9 Kron and Leia Drogon R2 Radis Jin with I know TJ convinced me on the damage reduction Rogue One level 6. I'll be honest with you. They were just full out dummy targeting Jin the whole time. I feel like that would have been even easier, done even sooner had I gone in with a set 19 Kron. Light side bulk. Maybe some resistance penetration, something like that.
That makes Leia's damage a lot more.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like that Rogue One Kron, you're thinking maybe I'm, doing myself a favor for my side pieces with that. It's like, I didn't really feel that mattered, really. But yeah, it was 64. I think the hard part was just topping off Jin at the end. Otherwise, real smooth. How about you guys?
I used her on offense to solo something.
I believe in you, Dagger, and that's important. Thank you. What about you, TJ? Yes.
I faced it, man.
Hold on. I soloed a Zori team.
Wow. Well, thank you.
Yes, I did face it, and the reason I brought it up for all safety measures was just trying to save your banners because of what you were facing and who you were facing.
Yeah.
I was not playing with it. So, but it's like, I faced him. I did Chase, and I'll never do Chase again. And that was the whole point of why I called it out for you, because it was like, man, you don't want to deal with it.
Tell us why. Why did Chase let you down?
The turn meter gain that you're getting because you're gaining buffs is just feeding into that team. And I sent you the video of what
it's just kind of doo-doo.
You want me to show that video? I can get it.
Go ahead. It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just whatever time frame of me getting my ass handed to me. I never got to play the game. They decided Drogon didn't get to play the game either, and they kept stealing turn meter. So it's like, I didn't play, they played, I lost. And if I would have taken Jin and Radis, it would have resolved the issue. Because again, it was also the Ahsoka level 9 Datacron. That's why I said Carthage did a great job. He set it up, and he's put the monster ATF with Seer, and we'll talk about that where I brought it up. But it's like, I didn't get to play. And it was fair I didn't get to play because it was just all of the pieces that came in.
Okay, well, here we go. Here's your video. Hopefully you guys see this.
It's just me being sad.
Yeah, let's see what happens here. This is, okay, so this is Ahsoka level 9, because I can see everybody having the Morais Wisdom. Okay. So you'd think that would be okay.
But you're trying to be able to get to other people, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, I don't want to play with buffs anymore. You don't get to get foresight, and that was my thought.
Yeah,
It gets bad, and then it gets worse.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Does it? Remember that whole don't get to play the game thing? Because I'm just waiting for my turn. I get to play the game too,
I'm
right?
pretty sure you've had no non-base people doing anything so far.
Well, there he goes. And there he goes. And I'm like, ooh, I'm getting close. But remember, it's bulk. It's bulk level 3, so...
And the other property of that Ahsoka level 9 is she gets an additional 3% ultimate charge, I think, whenever an ally Spectre uses an ability. I don't even think it requires a special. So it's a reasonable chance that she can get that second ultimate off with a full charge.
Oh yeah, it took you about a minute and 5 seconds for Ezra to be untouchable.
Yeah, I'm just stuck. But it's
Yeah.
cool, right? I got tank revive and everything else.
He's
Like I said,
dodging everything. Like I think R2 hit him with a basic, and he's dodged everything Bases tried to do.
you know, you don't get to play the game. That's what I felt like.
Okay, so
I didn't
that
get to
was
play
Leia's
Solo.
first turn right there. So fully
I did see
minute
get
and a
to
half into the fight.
She did get to finally go, and that felt great.
Man, and that was, you didn't get to do the logs on him, right? That was just him
No,
doing
he
amazing.
did the logs. He went first and did logs. Leia took her second turn a minute and a half in.
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay, second turn. My bad. Thanks. Okay,
Yeah.
so that was with
Yeah,
a
it's still
charged
kinda
up Drogon, and that basic
right.
on Sabine was not a kill.
Right. Remember when we talked about, man, that Kron is bad with the level 9? This feels bad.
I can chime into why this is happening.
I believe. I
Please,
know
yeah,
you will.
I mean, go ahead, elucidate.
Yeah, so what we're seeing is a combination of General Syndilla's unique with Ahsoka's lead. And units like Baze that gain large amounts of minor incremental turn meter, or like Captain Rex or Old Ben, just feed the ever-living daylights out of their turn meter. Which
Yes,
is
sir.
why you were spectator mode.
Yes. I did not respect it as I should, which is why I said I'll never do it again. Which is also why I was very
believe you.
specific. Which is also why I was very specific in saying, "Hey, Tass, take these two."
Yeah,
because
I mean,
don't PB, and this is what
Yeah.
it looks like.
yeah.
Don't gain
I wasn't
CM, guys.
thinking about those two in particular, but I could have just as easily started to, and I am so glad I know.
Yeah.
Well, because Leia doesn't have a whole lot of good rebels to choose from, so it's so easy to just reach for, like,
Old Ben,
capital G, capital R, the good rebels.
That's it, right? And it was like that, and I'm like, okay, I took the damage reduction level 6, which you saw how well it works against that. So it feels good when that doesn't work at all.
Well,
And
that's
I
what I'm
took two
saying.
Rogue
That level
One.
6 didn't really feel enormously impactful in my fight, right? You saw it.
It was the idea if they're gaining the turn meter, he's going to be above the 50%, but him gaining that turn meter is bad. Don't do that.
Yeah, let me pull this up on screen again. I need to remind myself about General Syndulla's unique here.
Scroll down to, like, the 4th paragraph, I think, or the 4th line break.
Whenever a buff is dispelled, whenever a buff is dispelled from an enemy, whenever enemy units have their turn meter manipulated, a random Spectre ally gains defense up and tenacity up, so pushing them further towards perfect defense.
I think Baze is literally just creating an infinite engine because Baze gains turn meter when he sees buffs, which creates buffs.
Right.
Which
Sure
creates
does.
turn meter, which
Yeah,
creates
it's a
buffs.
separate instance of 5% ticking each time.
Sure does. All
And
of
whenever
this
you
is true.
gain turn meter, they gain offense, right?
This is they like it. They like it a lot.
And then
And you should-
Ahsoka's lead is what has when a buff is dispelled, they get turn meter.
So what you don't do is that. Just so you're aware.
Yeah, old Ben, Krex, and his just got really bad versus Ahsoka.
Yep, there
And
it is.
I shouldn't say just got bad. Are bad. Glad we had this conversation here. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who don't lose their fight because TJ did for them.
Yeah,
I did.
well, I'll tell you what, because this is, this is nasty. Whenever a Spectre ally has a buff dispelled on them, they gain 10% turn meter and 5% mastery. So that implies per buff. That's
Yeah. Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
awful.
and Harris unique is just casually dispelling two buffs to give him a third buff.
That's a lot. Yeah. All right. Good stuff.
Yeah, and then you bring in an AoE dispeller like Baze who gains turn meter. That's a yucky.
It feels icky as well since we're doing all the bad work.
I see that. Yeah. Thank you.
I was a sad boy.
Sasha, how about you? Any tales of woe or valor against Ahsoka?
I did see, let's see, I saw Ahsoka's with the Ahsoka 9, so a similar comp to what we just saw with TJ. And then I also saw one with extremely high defense. So from the earlier set that's now expiring. And that Datacron choice did impact my counter selection. So against the high defense one, I went with the JML squad. And that went pretty smoothly. What I did is, and you guys have, I'm sure, seen other battles like this, but I paid some attention to keeping the sides stunned, and I went and essentially took Sabine out first, then Hu Yang, and Syndulla next, and then I took Ahsoka out before Ezra, and then because I think Ezra had, I can't recall whether it's Mirai's wisdom or whatever, but I couldn't assist on Ezra, so I just took Ahsoka down. Then
I think it's just baked into Ezra's kit.
Yeah, that's just a property of him.
Can't assist. Okay. I knew that was the case when he was exiled, but he was no longer exiled. But yeah, anyway,
He still keeps the passive.
he keeps that. Got it. Thank you. And then the other was a Leia Pow combo that I used against a bulk cron with the Ahsoka level 9, and it felt okay. I ended up losing a couple of characters. I did have a high defense Pow cron, but it was a one shot. So for let's say 59. So yeah, generally went smooth. On defense, I don't know if we want to get into that, but I set each round that Ahsoka with ATF and the ATF cron, and I also paid some particular attention to my Ahsoka modding, to my ATF modding. That at least feedback from Aesop was that it made some difference. So I don't know if we want to get into the defense comps
we'll
at this point.
definitely talk about that here in a minute. I guess before we wrap. Sorry, somebody's trying to say something. Well, before we try to wrap up on Ahsoka, so we've talked about how we fought it. Any insights into how it performed for you on defense? At the time of this recording, we just wrapped up, not even an hour ago, the third round of the week. So we don't have Swugga.gg yet updated, but I don't know if any of you talked to your opponents or if you have any idea, suspicion about what made your Ahsoka perform, if it did. Both rounds that I had somebody fight it, really, I had one drop and one just got blown out for 64. In both cases, I was using the Ahsoka level 9 this week because, we'll be talking about it next, I wanted to use Fulcrum elsewhere. But what about you guys? Any other notes on how she performed for you defensively?
I did hear back from Aesop, and it was really the deciding battle of our match. He ended up with JML failing against my Ahsoka with ATF, and at least his impression. So he then got hard stuck on it. I think he had 12 or 14 battles against Ahsoka and couldn't get through on the bottom front wall. I mean, we've all been there, and it's a frustrating experience. But the first full back out was with a JML squad, and what he said he ran into was he just could not get Fulcrum down. He was prioritizing taking Fulcrum, and the fact that she was hanging around long enough led her to shred up his team. The change that I made, and he noticed it when he went in and took a look, and I thought it would make it more vulnerable to JML, but perhaps more effective against Leia, but it worked against JML. And his view was I went crazy heavy on defense with ATF. And at least at the time of lock, just kind of out of curiosity and pride, I took a look, and my ATF at that point had physical defense that was 4% higher than the second highest ATF in the game. She was at like 71.5% or something like that. And he said the challenge he was finding was that the additional physical or special damage beyond the true damage being done with the JML bonus, he's like, it was just like nothing to her. And so she was healing enough with her special. So that ended up working. All that being said, I don't know what Cyrus used against it. Cyrus one shot it for 65. So there's clearly something that works really well. But, all that attention to detail in the modding, if it worked once, yeah, that's all I can ask. So
Yeah, I heard from Barator, he's my round 3 opponent. He used Great Mothers. So obviously with the outgoing set 17 cron, probably not doing the same next time we go to 5s, but yeah, neat to know for sure. All right, if we're good here talking about GL Ahsoka, let's talk about Fulcrum next. Clearly, based on what Sasha was just saying, we can expect good things from her being concentrated into the GL Ahsoka team. I think that seems intuitively the best, quote unquote, best version of the Ahsoka team right now with set 19. But for this week, I did want to separate it out because if you had something somebody found something overwhelming, I'd hate to see them 65 when I could have had that fulcrum spread out elsewhere. So I put mine with Ray. I want to say Swallow, Cal, and Sortie. And I got a hold in round 2 and no hold in round 3. What about you guys? What do you know about Fulcrum? What you see? What you say? What you know?
He solo stuff on offense.
I can tell you right now, she is a must-get Datacrod. That's all I could say. Her usage right now, you cannot beat her because I'll tell you what. So we'll stand by for story time with TJ on what she looks like in Seer, and the fact that you cannot get to play the game the normal way. So I tried Malgus just to see what the level of the water was, and I think I was beaten 35 or 45 seconds because of what she was doing to my team and the literal damage output. That's why I said Carthrick earned his way to the win. Putting it on the Seer team, that Seer is supernatural. I think I tried something else heavy, and I got blown out, so I had to back out. And then the third round, I took C, Dark Side Bulk, mind you. I took Armor, because I'm like 3 stacks. I took Watt, I figured Tank Tech. I took GBA, Extra Tank, and I took Piggy because you could not play against and getting to my team. What I ended up with was a solo C who almost died because the simplicity of her kit and the damage in the Kron is overpowering. And mind you, 4 dark side characters, 40% health on my Kron, and everything else, and almost dead. Luckily came back, and I got it with the solo C. Regretted my life choices and was thankful that worked out because I could easily see him destroying my C again. ATF is an absolute monster anywhere you put her.
Completely believe that. Yeah, I mean, we can keep talking about whichever offensively, defensively, where we're seeing her.
No
But
one has even
Dagger,
brought up.
you brought that up, Dagger. I want to hear more about using Ahsoka Tano on offense solo. Let's hear about that. What are folks doing there? What do you know?
Oh, I just think that there's applications against some of the B teams people are setting where this is like better than Sidious Kron. Remember how Sidious was beating some things? There are a lot of teams out there where they don't have any individual character that hits ridiculously hard. And if they set a team like that, she just takes a turn every time they take a turn. So as long as you time it so that remember, you don't have to do her third after you do her second. So if you get a bonus turn, you can go second into basic, keep that prod up for their big hitter who's about to take a turn, and then you big hit.
I'm gonna give you the point because he just brought it up and it makes perfect sense. When her Omicron first came out for TW, and what you got to do in TW is what it feels like.
Yeah.
There, she goes, or you go, and then somebody dies. You go, and then somebody dies. is the thing of it. So it's like with him saying that makes perfect sense that you're playing TW ATF when she first came out, and it was so much fun being able to do it. And it's back again.
There's a level 3 that like heals you for 3% health
Right.
and prod every time you gain a buff.
Yeah, that's smart. Okay, yeah, that sounds like some real potential 3 versus 3 application.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure that, but I also think that there are some applications to get something like DTMG or
Wow.
what
Amazing
else? Like
if true.
Zori.
Yeah,
Things
amazing
that-
if true, because I mean it makes
Because
sense.
she's
Like
immune to debuffs, basically. She dispels all the debuffs, so you can't expose her.
yeah, and she's not really gaining turn meter. She's just getting bonus turns. So yeah.
And as long
It
as
is
you
set up-
have that prod up for the Mass Assist, I think you could be okay in a lot of those. Sorry.
Sorry,
Yeah,
what's that?
no. The only thing I was going to add in is it is set up in game to really kind of underperform a little on defense relative to its potential on offense for the reason that Dagger was touching on, in that it's the bonus turn. In the bonus turn, which is triggered by an opponent character taking a turn, that's the plus 100% damage. And on defense, she's extremely unlikely. It's not totally impossible, but extremely unlikely to use her big whirlwind on that bonus turn, because she'll get that bonus turn after using the middle, and then she'll do it then. But to Dagger's point, you want to get set up by using the middle, then basic, and wait until a bonus turn and then use it. And to that point, like I faced a couple of them on Leia squads that looked like they would be really intimidating, and they actually weren't. I didn't find her to hit super hard. I faced a Leia squad with ATF that I was able to one shot with Jabba, and so that was surprisingly cheap.
All I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you is when she's in her home, though, I know you're saying this, but I promise you, I wish you would have recorded this. If she's in her home where she belongs, on a Ray team or a Seer team, I would hazard you on assuming it's the same thing. The simplicity of her move.
All I'll say is this, DJ. All I'll say is this, and I'll let everybody else talk about it. Her AI, when she gets a bonus turn, will use basic or second.
I'm telling you with the simplicity of her kit. I'm just telling you.
No. I'm not arguing about her doing damage under those other teams. I'm going with what Sasha kind of pointed out that I was initially trying to say, but like did a poor job of explaining, is her damage will not be maximized on defense whatsoever, and her cron will be annoying. But I'm telling you that this cron is better on offense than defense. The question is, do you want it on offense? And is it enough of a wrinkle on defense? But
I'm telling you right now, when we see everybody with Ray, ATF, and Ben, and you say that this is not the biggest thing, then we will have this discussion. I'm
it's simple. It's half as hard as it otherwise would on its special, but it's still beastie, and that's actually why I thought it was so fantastic under a GL Ahsoka squad, is because there's so much scaling that happens there, and that was terrifying, honestly.
No doubt.
And the sheer amount of just offense generation that the uniques on that team have.
I'm just calling out. We're calling AI as dumb, but one thing that you never get to beat is simple kits. Her kit is ultra simple, and simple is effective.
There's no argument. I'm simply pointing out that you are not getting the maximum amount of value out of her by putting her on defense. You are getting that's
just always true.
Yeah, but I'm saying she's even less so. Like you're right that you don't get the most value out of things on defense. I'm saying that she is less so than the average defensive character.
Okay.
That's all I'm trying to point out. I think that there are applications for her on offense where she will do some really dirty things, especially if you tailor make a cron for her. Like I said, there's that healing level 3 for buffs.
Mm-hmm. Well, how about you,
I'm
Fatal?
not saying you can't put her on Rey, can't put her on Leia, can't put her... Like, her flexibility and tags are one of the things that make her great. I just don't know how I feel about getting hit for double basics all the time when her big whirlwind hit won't ever be double damage on defense.
I see your point. I do. Yeah. All right. Fatal, how about you? You got any takes on Fulcrum this week, offensively, defensively?
My opponents didn't really seem to have that much issue. It was just well, I tried a few configurations. So like I tried Sabine 9. I split out Fulcrum 9 all 3 weeks, or all 3 matches, just because especially like I think that there's something to be said for like, if you're like top 8 this week and Great Mothers are still out and you're really just trying to like timing attack someone, it probably makes the most sense to like combo Great Mothers plus Fulcrum with Ahsoka. But I'm very much concerned with what you're saying of, now that the meta is losing its villains, if like Ahsoka 9 plus Fulcrum 9 just becomes the villain, then okay, whatever solves them is just going to become the thing everyone holds. So I really don't want to rely on those two together. I would rather see them spread apart. Match 1, I posted Fulcrum and Seer all 3 rounds, but match 1 I didn't include crew, which I think is like an immediate snafu because you just give Sith Eternal and Link on Malicos plus Fulcrum, and then let me double check match 2. It felt really kind of janky to have SLK relying on just Faust, but only for some matchups. Yeah, match 2 I swapped over to crew being in the squad, but they still got one shot. So did my Ahsoka. Match 2 is also when I flipped from Sabine 9. The thing that made me switch back to Ahsoka 9 was I reread Barais and saw the 10% damage reduction. It was like, that's enough for me to respect it. That like, sure. So flipped, like ostensibly fixed problems on both squads, but still just got them with one shot. So that was whatever. And then match 3 is where Ahsoka kind of caught someone out. But again, like, match 2, my Ahsoka got one shot, my Seer got one shot, but then Great Mothers caught them out. So, like, is that just the dynamics of, like, it's 2 or 3 potentially strong teams and they got spread too thin? But then, match 3 is Ahsoka getting some holds, Seer got a hold. I think my biggest concern is, so let's say the Seer team has crew in it, and then Sith Eternal is forced to only link one person. I feel like potentially Sith Eternal Enoch can still just kind of do some diffusing and just buy enough time or whatever have you. And I do feel like to some degree, I feel like Sith Eternal is probably just obligated to go 3 tank rather than trying to do armor or Watt, just because you kind of just need to hide behind your tanks and just like sack them all, I'd imagine. But yeah, I don't know. I was kind of whelmed this week in terms of what opponents were able to do, but without seeing match history, I'm not like worried about it yet. It was just like, she went down. I don't know.
All right, fair enough. Anything else you guys wanted to offer up on Fulcrum? Going once, going twice. Sold. All right, next item. Any other early set 19 observations? I will say I had Barator set a Lord Vader, Maul, Piet, Thrawn Royal in the back with the new Piet Kron, which, here, let me pull that up real quick so we all know what we're talking about. You hide on me. There you are. Absolute bottom.
The Kron feels like an overly simple puzzle, doesn't it? I mean, like, with the answer right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The first time Admiral Piet is defeated, if there is at least one other active ally, revive all other defeated allies, and other allies recover, plus 100% health and protection, gain 100% turn meter, and 100% offense until the end of battle. So, it reads exactly like what you think it does. It says, kill everybody but Piet, and then kill him last, and then this doesn't do anything. And I am here to confirm it, in fact, works exactly that way. So, surprise, How about you guys? I mean, I know I haven't put out my video yet, but I'm excited about what this Magma Trooper one might do. I did encounter a Stormtrooper Han. It didn't matter. I used something overwhelming, but this isn't not Stormtrooper Han. It was just Han Solo that I fought once. This one, the revival for Han, the bonus turn, the prod up. If you're taking something that usually beats this team, I don't think that this is adding too much a wrinkle. But what you guys got? Any other interesting?
I've already done some dirty fucking things with the CLS level 9, including beating Jabba.
Talk to us. How's that go? No footage by chance?
No, I don't know how to record on my PC.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
I'm still rather PC illiterate.
That's fair.
No, basically you just armor shred and just bonk. Because the level 9, I won't pretend to know exactly what it says. I could go read it. But basically, it's like doubling up the expose, so boost just explodes.
Yeah, I got it
And
up on
once
screen,
boost
but I can read it off to you. Whenever Commander Luke Skywalker damages an enemy with a special ability and the enemy doesn't have Armor Shred, inflict Armor Shred for the rest of battle. Whenever CLS uses a basic ability and damages an enemy with Armor Shred, inflict Expose for 2 turns on that enemy, which can't be resisted, and CLS gains protection up 50%, stacking for 2 turns.
So basically, what happens is you do stance swap on Chrysanthemum, middle on Boosh. She does her AoE, he goes, she explodes.
Okay. Dig that.
Now, this is with Darkside Bulk, so I don't know what there is probably a cron that blocks this. I won't even pretend there isn't. But anybody who has known me for any amount of time knows that if CLS is good, I have the bottom, like I am hitting the bottom of my desk, if you know what I mean, right? Like I love the CLS team. It is, I used it from the moment I unlocked it, which was the second go around until GLs came out. Okay. I love this fucking team.
Okay, good stuff.
So if they ever get a level 9, if one of their characters gets a level 9, I get it, and then I try it, and yeah, it's fun.
All right. Any other level 9s out of this set you got to toy with?
No, I only have 3. I have CLS, or this week, I should say, I only have 3. I have CLS, Fulcrum, and Ahsoka. And because my GAC is the way it is, most of my, air quotes, fun is just Arena.
Fair. All right. TJ, how about you?
No, I've gotten none of them, man. So mine is only the poor story of what Carthrick did to me with his setup.
And you didn't fight any other interesting ones yourself?
Nothing that called it out. No,
okay.
Nothing I found that scare me enough.
Sasha, how about you? Any other winners?
Yeah, I did face an interesting. It was all R9, which sort of adds the interest to it. It was an Iden, Range, Shore, Stark, and Magma Trooper with the Magma Trooper Cron. And I thought about Wampaing it because I think Wampa would still make its way through that. But I ended up using AdRad in part because the AdRad Cron's about to disappear and it was the last match of the season. I'm like, I gotta say farewell to that. But and it was really pretty smooth as a 65 as you'd expect with the AdRad squad. I considered but didn't set a few different squads with the Magma Trooper that I had. And in fact, one of the comps I was looking at setting was EP, MJ, Magma Trooper, Shore Trooper, and Lord Vader. And just to try and get a TM train running, Magma Troopers R9, level 9, sorry, is really tantalizing. I don't think would have made a huge difference. It would have, gotten fear out quickly there. And, it provides a 50% turn meter gain on Magma's basic in a way that is really, like I said, tantalizing for a TM train. I still think that squad would have been steamrolled. But I'm intrigued with Magma Trooper on a 5-man Trooper squad. It's just the issue I was running into because Magma just on its base. So Magma on the Trooper squad on its basic gets at minimum 70% turn meter every time it uses the basic. And depending on the RNG of who, if you assuming you have a Piet and range in there, who gets called to assist, it's anywhere from 70 to 100% TM on use of basic. And that's just a great way to TM train. But when I'm looking at boards now, or at least what I was facing in my matches this week, I did not have a single squad that I faced that I felt I had a solid chance to TM train. So I didn't. The toy was there, the vision for how it could potentially be deployed was there, but the opportunity wasn't. So yeah, stayed on the shelf.
Right. I appreciate the notes. That's probably the most thorough information I could look to get right now about Magma Trooper this early on. So thank you. All right.
Somebody who hasn't used them, sure.
Yeah. Fatal, how about you? Any other winners? Anything else grab your eye?
In terms of physically seen, or just in terms
either
of
you used it or you saw it. Anything with these new level 9s out of set 19 that made you go, huh?
User seen, no. If we're talking about like stuff I'm gonna work on now that Conquest is out.
Oh, okay.
Kind of.
All right, you want to give the folks at home a peek behind the veil. Speak on one, maybe not all.
Well,
A peek or not? You don't have to. This is why I ask like
no,
this.
no, 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 no. I'm trying to talk about it. So we're talking about Iden and CLS, and those are teams that were like my core wheelhouse back in the day for 3v3. Literally, like fighting against you, and like multiple times they made their mark.
They did.
And
the CLS scarred me forever. I want to say it stomped my Lord Vader. That was I forget if that was 3s or 5s, but your CLS stomped my Lord Vader, and I would I play on a computer. I don't play on the phone. That's the only thing that stopped me from throwing my monitor. Is that it's like no, I like this monitor.
Well, here's what's got me stuck is like, we're kind of at the end of the high power datacrons. Rogue One certainly a big thing. Grey Mother's certainly a big thing. And so we're kind of settling back towards like a more normal meta. And I was looking at my 3v3 defense for this upcoming season, and I'm having a stroke or something because I can't count to 15. I can't reach 15 teams that I'm like, yeah, this is a hardy defense team that I feel good about.
Okay.
And so I'm like, okay, we've got datacrons for Iden and CLS that like maybe, those are like old classics for me. But both of those teams got like hard counters set out that I don't know that you can like go back and relive those glory days. Like the only thing I'm not even feeling good on it, but I'm curious on it is like the Rebel when you get stunned, you get Terminator. Because I know it has more words there. But like if you're fighting Iden, you don't get to recover protection. That I'm pretty sure that heal block's unblockable or like unresistible, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, the main thing I'm thinking for this next 3v3 season is like, okay, so the heal is bait, like the heal is placebo, but maybe that 50% Terminator helps you shrug off the stun sooner. Because when I'm thinking to the Iden versus CLS matchup, hey, I'm assuming like we've all lost control of it at some point, right? CLS can begin to fight back and start juggling you and like interfere with you. And so maybe there's a world where like that 50% TM acceleration kind of helps push things off and like put a little bit of pressure back on Iden. But then if I'm talking about like the Iden situation, I very much agree that the Wampa is a concern. That like, again, these angles feel very thin. Like the only angle I can think of is like, I don't know if you just rack up like double damage or a defense to offense plus like dark side buffs level 3 and hope you just like nuke a Wampa on site, because if it gets past that point, I don't know if it's gonna happen for you, bud. I think it's I think you're probably cooked.
It's curtains. Well, so all right, so you're looking at a few of these maybe to eke out a little bit of advantage. You're willing to be an early tester on that, but do you see
it's
anything...
an early test, but it's not like a confident, hey, you should work on this. It's more so just like, man, I don't know if this set, because also isn't CLS locked to UFU only?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Dark side, therefore.
Yeah.
Not great.
Yeah.
No, it's not optimal. I posted the Datacron in the scheme team. But yeah, the level 6 is just the DI level 6 because but it's the bulk level 3, bunch of armor pen, and things. I didn't think the level 6 mattered a ton. I can roll off it if I think that there's one better.
Makes sense.
But he's the only one that really gets affected by it, so And the turn meter level 6 is when you give a buff to somebody else. And he doesn't really give buffs to anybody else, so
we
it's
look
like
at the UFU 6s here.
Yeah. I think actually, you know what? The crit avoidance one is probably a better level 6. I should get whenever he's crit, he gets crit avoidance.
I don't want to zoom in too deep, but actually, okay, so is there vulnerable unresistible to rebels? And I think vulnerable is not a numerical thing, right? It's just like guaranteed crits.
Will be critical
in
hit if
absence
possible,
of crit immunity, so 100 crit avoidance doesn't mean shit to vulnerable.
So what if it's actually the auto cleanse paired with the 50% Terminator? Oh wait, no, those are competing with each other, right?
Yes.
Yes, this is 6s we're looking at. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the 65% chance to cleanse may be better. You're right.
Historically, I want to say Fatal. Didn't there used to be something like this back in the day with CLS on defense? This
I
was a
always
thing
wrong.
that you did. Like you were
It
running
was
this.
there used to be damage reduction on the CLS team,
But I'm
and because
specifically
they
talking
generated
about
so
that
much
passive
TM,
chance to
they would
dispel.
always have high TM, so you never hurt them.
The modding ethos was always tenacity, crit avoidance, protection, and defense.
Yeah.
Just to like make him a nightmare to drill through. The thing I'm not sure on is like if you go the UFU route, because like the CLS9, I think, right? Like it generates exposes, and those exposes contribute to like it binds all things, which is like pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
are you just like leaving Chupio hanging out to dry? Because if you go the UFU route, you're making it the CLS show, and Chupio won't benefit from like the trying to get him out of stun type shit.
Very fair.
Yeah, but
I don't know,
Chupio
it-
always assists, which generates TM with the exposes. Chupio is
also-
now there for more of a TM generation like engine than a anything else.
Like we're talking narrow margins here, and again, like
Yeah.
for all I know, can anyone think of like whatever other CLS counters there were? It's like I remember JTR was using Bad Batch at times, and then like, is there any other like close call counter that doesn't just immediately ramp up to like?
It depends on how you mean close call, but Night Sisters used to do it, right? When I say sketch, though, I mean bust out the charcoal and the pad, boys.
I'm saying
Yeah.
like, pretend it's 3v3 season. Pretend that you're
Oh, in
posting a
3v3? No,
CLS.
you just get cold cocked.
Oh, in
by
threes.
Like
Never mind.
No,
Sorry.
Thridian.
In-
Thridian
in-
is the
yeah,
automatic
Thridian
one that
would
comes
do
out.
it. Yep.
No, Veers does that shit just fine.
As I say, Thridian was always another go-to that we got
Yeah,
to use
or
classically.
even Thridian's just more expensive
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wait,
than,
what-
than Veers. But yeah,
Sorry,
like,
is Thridian Padme? What's Thridian? Oh, Thrawn, right?
Yeah.
Thrawn,
Thrawn,
Gideon,
Gideon, and
Storm.
like Shore.
Yeah.
Yep.
no,
Right.
it's Storm. It's
Oh,
Storm. 'cause
Storm. You're
won't
right.
crit.
You're right. It was Storm.
Yeah, Storm.
It's Storm because Storm won't crit, and then he'll expose, and then that's your
It
game.
was the
And you
exposed
just
part.
grind them into oblivion by
Yeah.
just exposing them repeatedly.
So I guess what I'm really trying to say in all this is CG has given us a tool set for teams that have historically been useful, but I'm looking at the list of tools and I'm not sure how much they actually change their core counters right now. And so I feel like if we're talking about next season, it's gonna be kind of a gold rush, I think, of A, can you make any old killers like feel good and new again and actually meaningfully change stuff? And B, if not,
Oh yeah,
You
I
know,
fully expect
anyways, I
CLS
don't
to
know.
still be cannibalized for whatever pieces you can get. I'm just saying, as somebody who absolutely adores the CLS team, I'm really happy that we're back. That it's back to killing things, even if it didn't get the Rebel L6 because they hate CLS. CG hates CLS.
A little bit. Yeah. Okay. Any
But I
other
agree,
level
Fatal.
9s
I
from
don't
anybody?
think it's a needle.
Sorry, go ahead.
Really quick, I agree with you, Fatal. I don't think it's a needle mover because I don't think the team is punching up that high. Plus, Job already dies to Afro, which is like arguably just as cheap as CLS.
oh, to be honest, I was mostly just talking defense for the
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in threes, not really. In fives, this may stop them from getting Tuscan.
We can put that quote on the box as like the whale now on set 19. Your CLS may not get Tuscans.
You may
Yeah.
be able to hold off the Tuscans in
Don't worry, the Tuscans have a
2025.
data. But don't worry, guys, the Tuscans have a Datacron too. So who knows?
Right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, for threes, we'll be talking about our 3v3 preparation in our next episode. But yeah, I mean, out of the couple options for Tuscan, I'm thinking Chieftain's probably the one I like best for the Tuscan team, because I know Tuscan Raider's also potentially a slapper, but it says he only gets his benefit whenever he evades an attack.
Yeah,
which
I don't
is,
like the Tuscan. I think the Tuscan Chieftain's like the only good one. I could
I
be
agree.
wrong, but
Yeah.
This is the first Tuscan set that did not make me feel fear.
Fair. Yeah, the 25% turn meter is not bad, but it's nothing like what we've seen in previous Tuscan
The
Crown,
fucking
so-
wiggle monster that weirdly nobody used, but anytime that I ran into it, I just wanted to die and explode immediately on the spot.
Mhm.
The wiggle monster. Because the warrior was the flavor of the month.
All right, good discussion there. Appreciate you guys on that one. I think that wraps up meta matchups, guys. Best attack and defense of the week. Again, I know nobody has Swugga.gg available, but hopefully you guys have off the top of your head something that stands out to you. For me, offensively, I want to say Let me see. Something I just did today that was really cool. Let me check my notes. Because I just pulled it off. Well, I suppose it shouldn't be so surprising, but this is with the outgoing Moff Gideon Kron. But DTMG, Gid, Death, Scout, and Enoch took out Sirkal, Ninth, Malicos, and crew. And how fortunate it was. I don't know that we would not have won the fight anyway, but we just barely stomped out Malicos before he got his first turn and had a chance to throw rocks. So, 65 banners, pretty effortless. Against Balin, I would like to highlight that for the first time this season, I did Bane Sass. Simple stuff. 65 banners. I saw it on Insight. Somebody had done it with a set 18. Obviously bulk level 3, but they went for super high crit damage. Like they were 145% crit damage, no health, something like that. I felt like I should probably split the difference a little. Went in with something about 55% health, 60% crit damage, 65% crit damage, something like that. And yeah, I did not feel endangered at any point, so probably should have been looking into that sooner. And then, yeah, defensively, I was just pleased to see that in my second round against You Can't Say, who's a very high efficiency player, and I know that he would have seen that I had Ahsoka, I was happy to see that the split with Fulcrum with Rey was so effective. Like they each got one hold. You know, he managed to clean it up pretty orderly after that. But pleased to see that Ahsoka can jam up. I don't know what he used, but jam up somebody's counter without Fulcrum being required to make her do it. I mean, we all have kind of low expectations of Ahsoka on defense, so that's why I guess it stood out to me. Dagger, how about you? Attack and defense of the week. Let's hear the riveting tale from the front lines.
Yeah, nothing really GAC related. I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay, appreciate you.
I told you before. There are two groups of people I currently fight. There are 12 million accounts with no datacrons, and there are like 8 million accounts with maybe 10 level 9s total. And the teams all fall over equally as easily at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're all a bunch of fourth graders fighting around on the playground. It's just you happen to be 6 feet tall.
Something like that. Yeah. No, I will say that probably the most fun fight that I had was using Ahsoka to solo something, because honestly, using her to solo a Zori team, that was just a lot of fun because her counterattack just kept stripping the taunt off of Finn, and then you're just like, I don't know. I think she is an incredibly fun character to use, and I know Tass and I have talked ad nauseum about how I find a lot of the GLs to not be like overly fun. They're powerful, but fun is always subjective. Don't get me wrong, but I have personally found a lot of the GLs themselves to not be particularly fun, like Jabba, Lord Vader, etc. Because you're just like either get stuck behind taunts or you just don't do a whole lot. But she's just a ton of fun. Her abilities feel very impactful. Anyways,
okay, that's TJ. I appreciate that, Dagger. Thank you. TJ, how about you? Favorite attack and defense of the week? Let's hear the news. The nerds.
Yeah, you're good, man. I guess favorite attack. I know we talked about it before. Taro round 3. So I had fun with Gideon Kron. I don't care. That's my bread and butter, man. I've had a lot of fun doing it on all the Jabbas and getting to see what I get to play with it. While keeping the Night Sister Bros with Great Mothers. Round 3, for whatever reason, I already talked about it, Tass. Taro put Dengar on the Hut team, and I know it's like hypothetically this would be fun, right? Yeah. It'd be cool to try to put this on. Don't do that. Just don't do that. So what happens when you do that is you get rid of all of the protection that would go to your one person, which is which is Bausch. You want her to stay alive, right? Well, if you don't have the full Hut, you get free reign. So I literally just got to pummel the team.
I gotcha. Okay.
So don't do that. Just a note for everybody else when we go into the next season. You need full Hut. Otherwise, just don't set that. It's cheeky and it's a cool idea. I had a harder time fighting Dengar on the trench team than I did on the Java team with this setup.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I can see that.
I destroyed it so bad, dude. It's like any of the hardest fights I had fun, it was like even worse. So just, yeah, that was my favorite attack because they got the closeout Gideon Kron, which obviously the Great Mother set was a terror, but that was a lot of fun. Stayed that way. Best defense, honestly, I'll go with Karthrik, and it was to our discussion of taking my Balin Kron on Ray because it had the highest health and protection setup for the Ufu, and then setting it up with Ray, Cal, Ben, Sortie, and what did I do? Because we still get to actually see it. It was JTR. And just because I looked at this history and did the scouting, and I got 3 holds. So I'll take a strong stance at the Ray with the high health and the Ufu setup, and to Dagger's construct of just swap it up a little bit. Felt good, and it held strong. Right, I felt pretty good. And it was a full back out. He killed somebody, and then but still he killed second round. He killed Ben, but everybody else was still standing and had to go to a third attack. So I'll take that as a strong setup for no Ezra, but still getting to do the dirt. And my Cal had VIP, so I made sure of that as well, just because obviously we know we want to get to him, but if you can't get to him, he can really mess up your fight.
Fair. Yeah, like that. Clever play there. It's a very deliberate effort to make Cal weakest, so nice. All right. Sasha, how about you? Your favorite attack and defense of the week?
Sure, I'll throw out on the attack side. It was a minor use of one of the new crons, but I think probably noteworthy. Like even I think it can be of use in 3v3. I had one lower level cron that I wasn't really thinking about because I had not taken it very high, but it had gotten to level 6, and it was Rebel Riposte. And I was facing a good Gungan squad, and as we mentioned before, like they're certainly vulnerable, can be taken out by stuff. And the biggest issue with a like old school Phoenix squad is do you have enough DPS to get through the Gungans once you get the shield down? And my God, the riposte just makes them melt exactly as you'd expect. Their kits are all set up to shift all of their health up to protection, and it took the usual 90 seconds for me to be able to get through the shield. And then once the shield was gone, it was just hit this special, everybody, that target dies, hit that special, that target dies. Impressive. And that was like purely a survivability optimized Phoenix squad. So it didn't have Ezra. It was just had Kane in there. So that was nice. That was fun and easy. And obviously, like with Conquest out now, going in the next 3v3, it's just another sort of vicious predator for Gungans out there in next season. Then on the defense side, what I'll raise that I think is a super strong 5v5 squad. In fact, I had Cyrus reach out and saying he really had nothing that he could use to one-shot it. It was in the back wall, but it was kind of a combination. I'm just throwing as much kitchen sink kind of Ufu approach. I had Seer, Malicos, Star Killer, Maul, and Crew. And that combo is rough. Like I took one on this season. It was in a match where I used JML against Ahsoka, and it was lucky I used JML against Ahsoka because I ended up using Leia with POW to be able to one-shot that, and even that was terrifying. Like I think they tore through Baze, they tore through POW, and I had Leia and 2 characters left before I think at that point I got Malicos and Maul. So yeah, that squad is rough, and that the Star Killer Kron will still be there next 5v5. So yeah, look out.
All right, nice. Thanks for sharing. All right, Fatal. Last but not least, how did what do you got? Best attack and defense of the week. I know you said it was kind of a dud week, but anything stick out at you either way?
I'm not really gonna read anything on defense, just because, yeah, right. Like when your opponent is just it's usually a mismatch on roster. It's not like there's nothing really brag about there. It's just yeah, I'm extremely favored here. This is really fun for either of us.
Yeah,
type shit. Offensively, again, I swear to fuck, this is not a bit, and I'm not the Night Sister guy, but I did come to a realization last week that I thought was kind of cool, and I
Mhm.
didn't get to fight another Jabba Dengar,
Mhm.
but I did get to proof of concept it, which is Night Sisters just aren't factional, and I never really came to the realization until last week of just like, yeah, just gotta reread their kits. I'm like, wait, there is no mention. We're just used to running Night Sisters, I guess. So I feel like Watt, you just throw Watt in the mix because the counter is already of the nature that you can like win with a 3-man, a
Mhm.
3-woman,
Mhm.
and so that leaves up to 2 slots, but probably like usually we're talking 4 slots for most players.
Mhm.
Then you can just slap a tank tech on Marin. And that should probably just works a lot of the time. That like even if you're like a more medium tier Marin, that's probably kind of just a cheat code to just like make your Marin a little bit tankier. And like
Yeah.
if you're fighting a Dengar, maybe get that stun off. I don't know if it'll actually beat Dengar, but you know, sounds promising. That was a cool fight.
Fair.
Yeah, I
Also,
saw that screen today. That looked cool.
I didn't think about it until like 2 minutes ago, but Watt being a priority target might actually draw some heat off of Marin as well.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's true, but I don't know. It was just interesting.
No, that's a good one. Yeah, we'll be dealing with that next season. Dengar will be around for a bit yet, so thank you. Okay, guys, that wraps up best attack and defense. Let's go ahead and move to takeaways and final thoughts. So, we have survived this first season of seeing what Set 18 was all about in 5 vs. 5. We'll get one more chance when next we return. It's difficult to kind of think out there because we'll have Set 19 as well. But, just reflecting on what we've lost. No more Jedi stun. Great mothers are mortals once again. It'll be a disrupted, first week of 5 vs. 5 when we go back to it. Thankfully, we'll get some time to learn a bit here in 3s. But I don't know. My takeaways is I think I should be a little more comfortable with rotating Balin to offense because I did it for this final round as well. Used it against Ray. It was Ray with Fulcrum because I was thinking I should set like Seer Ufu on defense and with Starkiller and all of that, all the bells and whistles because I haven't done it at all this season. But more to the point, I'll be damned if I'm getting jammed up using Seer Malicos Starkiller against this new Ray and something goes wrong because of this Fulcrum. Not gonna happen to me. So that was great, right? I should be looking for who I'm going to fill in for my attacks that I relied on for Set 17. Like my JML with the stun cron these last few months, been just a lifesaver for a variety of counters. So stuff I have to think about. But how about you, Dagger? Your takeaways? What do you got closing out the season here?
I think Fatal mentioned earlier when it comes to us losing a lot of these power level 9s that we're going to have to decide going forward if we want to combine teams or spread them out. And I think I again, it depends on how the meta kind of fleshes itself out. We don't know what marquees are going to get released next season, etc. But if you're just kind of like looking ahead slightly, I think we're going to be looking more at more possible defensive stalwarts with this current set if you are willing to combine the teams, because I think you'll be adding a higher natural failure rate. And it's just such a hard thing to kind of like. My brain is like scrambled right now due to the holidays and stuff like that. So I'm processing a lot of things at once. So I apologize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, amidst
But
combat in Skyrim. Mm-hmm.
eat shit.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
But I really do think that we're going to be looking at more defensive viability going forward. As always, I'm always a little. I don't know what the term would be. I give it a little side eye every time we get like resistance pen and armor pen individually, because I know that I don't know about y'all, but I can't hit the same pen on the same cron. So, fuck me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. My takeaways are basically just looking ahead. For me personally, these last few seasons have been boring. So.
All right, fair enough. TJ, how about you? Your takeaways and final thoughts closing out this 5 vs 5 season.
Thank God mothers are dead. I'm happy to see him go.
Are they
Crown
done?
was. They don't. I think they're good, but I'm glad the Kron is dead. I'm sorry, the Kron needed to go. That was ungodly powerful. That's my ultimate takeaway. I'm kind of excited for threes. I'm scared for threes and excited for threes, so I'll look forward to that. Dear God, CG, do something with the ships. It feels like shit.
That's fair. Speaking of ships, I'm glad you mentioned that. Hold on, let me show you the fight. Let me see if I have the VOD available for it. I know it's uploaded by now. Right? Right? Nope, doesn't look like it. Hold on. I'll go to Twitch and get it.
I'll shout it out, but I never took Morgan Omicron because of, it just didn't make sense that Great Mother Chrome was so good that the shit that was going to beat it was just going to beat it anyway.
No
but
doubt.
Morgan Omicron with the Darkseid TM preload.
Yeah,
You know what? I forgot about that one. I faced that, and I wrote it down for Taro. Taro put something else on it. I got down to literally 0 seconds with SLK.
I don't
Because
think Great Brothers are done. I think
no, I don't think they're
in a
done.
weird way, they
I
actually might
love
be
the
stronger.
team. No, I love the.
Oh,
I've watched.
Okay, there you go.
I watched what happened to Tass on a 6-star Mothers.
Yeah.
I love the Mothers. The team is amazing. Don't get me wrong. They are an absolute mainstay. They are awesome.
Let me see
But
if I can't pinpoint the moment here, because I want you to see this. Okay, so Boba comes in. Let me make sure. There. Okay. Now we'll watch. Now I want one of you guys to tell me, Tass, you're forgetting something. Because first of all, this is a bug that I'm able to target Razor Crest, right? Because I should be stuck behind Boba there.
No, he can absolutely target. What are you talking about?
Why?
Hit Dagger? Dagger can absolutely target outside of that. It's a part of his kit.
That was the Malgus ship turn, right?
The what?
That wasn't Dagger's turn, though, right? That was Malgus' ship
We can
that he was talking about?
Yeah, here, okay. So I do this and then Boba.
No, it was Dagger. Dagger can absolutely target outside of taunt. Tie Dagger,
Yeah, that
absolutely.
is Dagger right there,
Yeah, Tie Dagger can absolutely target outside of taunt.
Okay.
The turning
That's not a
question
bug.
was in a couple seconds with the Slave 1, though, right?
The Slave 1, well, we'll see. What has me frustrated is, you'll see in a moment. Alright, so, yeah, I guess I can ignore.
So this is with the bonus turn, so that is fair game.
Okay, alright. Now, something else weird happens here in a moment. Watch this. Why doesn't Boba get his taunt dispelled right there? You see what I'm saying? I just used Fury's third on Boba, and then the taunt stayed. It persisted.
Does Fury's third dispel? I don't recall. I don't think it does.
It doesn't?
I don't. Let me check. I don't remember ever dispelling a taunt.
Well,
when
I
you
want to
use the
say
third.
I've used it to dispel buffs. I guess I wasn't specifically thinking about taunt, but I don't know.
I don't think on the Fury's third it does a dispel.
Okay,
It's got
I'm
like
looking.
protection disruption effects. Well, shield disruption because it's ships. My mistake.
if that's the case, it's a good learning lesson because I was sitting there thinking, why was I stuck there?
But yeah, Dagger can absolutely attack depending on the circumstance.
Inflict
There's a situation for it.
debuffs on the enemy. Inflict debuffs. Okay.
And then Fatal's
not a
right. The
dispel.
protection disruption happens, which has a chance to miss or whatever. No, I guess not miss, but yes, you can. It can be abated or something can happen to where that doesn't apply.
It also does suspense, which stops spells from happening, which can kind of give it that feel.
Yeah, I'm sure that's where my head got it twisted up because I was sitting there thinking something's out of place, but no. Okay, good. Okay, good. CG, I apologize because I said some things on the stream regarding something fix your effing
They still
game
need to fix it, man.
and I
I
take it
get
all
the
back.
punishing-
You see the public retraction. If you don't, it'll
No, you're
be
not
here as a
wrong. They
matter
need
of
to
record.
fix their fucking game.
No.
I told
Yeah, no, they can
No,
fix
hold
their
on, hold
game
on.
for other
So-
reasons
so-
that are not this. Okay, fair
I
enough.
told Task this. So in Sector 2, I tried. This happened to me 3 times because I tried it like 2 more times to make sure that it wasn't just like my game, and I restarted the game, restarted the PC client once, and tried it on my phone, so in Sector 2, if you do C Morgan plus 3 tanks to get the Morgan surviving feat, my C goes into alt, and then he disappears from the battlefield.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
every
I don't know.
opponent who's reduced to 0 just sits there standing with 0 HP.
That's wild. Okay, that
Yep.
one I don't know about. That's that Tide
Very
Dagger
nice,
attacking
very
outside
nice.
of top.
I was telling Task that I want him to try and replicate it to see if it's not just me. But that was a fun one to find out today. I'm
No
just
doubt,
like,
no
this is
doubt.
bullshit. Fix
All
your
right.
fucking game, PG.
Indeed. Just not for the fleet thing that I was complaining about earlier. So, fair enough.
Oh, yeah.
Credit
No,
given where
I'm just
credit's
in
due.
general agreeing with you about fixing their fucking game.
No, hashtag kits though. Hashtag kits.
Sasha, Aisha, how about you? Your lessons learned from this week, closing out this 5 vs 5 season.
Well, let's see. Looking back, and this kind of relates to going forward too. Actually, is that I'm going to miss defense crons. I'm going to miss the relevance of Plo without his ship. I'm going to miss Pow. And we'll see about Great Mothers. I'd be delighted if they still have like serious defensive viability, and I think there's a real shot that they might. But like, I don't like it when the game's in a state where it's hard to get to set defenses that can hold, and I feel like we're losing some of those tools. So that's a big part. And then, do you want us to go into sort of comments on looking forward at this point, Tass, or we're going to circle back again?
I mean, if it's very specific in 3 vs 3, if you want to go into it in some type of depth, I prefer to save that for the preview. But if you're excited about a couple things you want to rattle off by name, yeah, by all means,
I'll do one thing because it's just a little more time sensitive for folks listening. Just as a reminder, like when you go into
Sure.
3v3, we all know you just need more DCs. We're about to lose Dust to set, and this is a set. Dagger's done a nice job in the past of mentioning this as we go into 3v3 with certain sets, and I think it's the case here. This is a really good set with the impactful nature and number of the level 3s, and level 3s, particularly on dark side, but also the bulk level 3 on light side, to go wide or broad rather than necessarily deep. Because it's not a lot of really overwhelming 6s and 9s that I see. There's some that are certainly impressive. We talked about these, but I do see meaningful value in the level 3s here. And so in that first week of conquest here before 3v3, I really recommend to folks to just grab a bunch, get them up to level 3, because I think that level 3 relative to stats, relative to the mechanics, and the factions here, I think, is disproportionately strong. So
Completely agree. I mean, again, just highlighting a couple of the biggest winners is the light side bulk here to complement the dark side bulk that we have from set 18. And then, as Fatal already mentioned, that dark side turn meter gain. Allies gain 25% turn meter at battle start. If you remember from some seasons ago, there was a light side such thing, and that hard defined that meta. So I wonder how much this one will do the same. There are definitely elements to look forward to. I'm sorry, though. I think somebody else was about to chime in.
I was actually about to chime in and contradict what I already just said.
All right. Well, hey, take it back then. Take it all back.
So I think this is. I agree with everything you just said, but if I'm actually like trying to call the ball here, I think the set's actually just going to be defined by Lightside Bulk plus Ufu Critavoid. And I think that's just like a combo that you can jam at a bunch of teams. Because I want to say, the funny thing is, like, we've had effects like, if we're talking about Ray, for example, Ray, I believe, had access to the reactive Critavoid, and it didn't actually flip Starkiller at the time, and like had no impact. The thing I don't recall though is I don't think we've seen the Critavoid effect combo with Bulk on top. And I think that might be approaching a certain critical mass that could just end up irritating a bunch of teams. Where it's not a super defense meta. Like if you want to go the defensive route, like the best that you can say is like, well, jam on tenacity, and like no, sorry, like CG is just entirely done with tenacity. I think because potency rolls are like double what tenacity rolls are this set. They're just like, don't even fucking like, no man, just stop. Don't even like bother trying to roll for it. But yeah, I like Darkside TM. You know, I shadowed out for Great Mothers. It's definitely something I'm going to be rolling hard for. But I wouldn't be shocked if it actually ends up not feeling as crazy as it did back then because it's so easy for teams to kind of weather the storm. And yeah, just kind of stand there and tank it and no sell it and they'll be like, anyway, I'm just going to kill you now because you didn't bring, you know, I don't know what the rough math is for effective health added on, but, you know, whatever it is that we got, you don't. So you're first to the gate, but we're untouchable.
Touching on Fatal's point there around the crit avoid, because that's absolutely the UFU level 6 that I've been focused on. You know, I love it for Ray. I love it for other survivability where it can be utilized with UFUs. And it's interesting, just the sort of ripple effect of that is that I was looking at Starkiller's crit and thinking about, all right, do I want to modify this so that, like, with his unique and everything else, I get his crit up to, what am I comfortable with? 180%? Knowing that I'm going to lose 100% after, you know, for 2 turns after I've crit him once. And that at least that's a fun twist to try and keep things viable. But yeah, I still like the breadth over 9s at least, and most 6s.
All right. Appreciate that. Well, Fatal, you know, we've already got, you know, some of your thoughts here in closing, but, you know, as we close out this 5 vs 5 season, what do you have? Lessons learned wise, what you're thinking about, when next we return to 5s, etc.
If we're talking about how this last season went, honestly, my only real takeaway, which isn't like useful to people, but I need to be a little bit less gung ho about throwing away rank because the nature of ladder is like getting very, very punishing. That like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I could have just held off on Ahsoka testing for an hour and played that GSC correctly. It's like, I think there's something to be said for focusing on fun battles rather than playing to win. But
yeah, at the time, everybody was super excited to see you doing it. So what are we supposed to say? Yeah, stupid you. Ha!
Yeah, but I feel like I'm coming out wiser on the other end now of like, yeah, do the work and then the play will come later. But yeah, I don't know. I think looking forward, I'm pretty much where Sasha is, where I think a lot of the villains are out. And I think so much of 5v5 is going to be defined by the difference between, you know, as much as I just said about 3v3 bulk plus crit avoidance, bulk runs, you know, suffer a bit in 3v3 versus 5v5. That while 3v3 will be good to test a good amount of stuff, maybe bulk plus CA will hit a little bit better in 5v5 and won't look as good in 3v3. So maybe that's, if I'm looking ahead to 5v5 and not talking about how concerned I am about things being cheesy, I think that's really where my head is at, is that even in the next 4, 5, 6 weeks, we might not see light side teams final form until 5v5 rolls back around.
Gotcha.
Because I mean, even just the Ahsoka testing I've seen so far, that team looks pretty much invincible, and it's not because of anything Ahsoka and the squad has. I think it's legit just bulk 3 and CA6.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that CA6 is going to be sneaky good then for a few of your light side teams. Nice. All right. Well, hey, guys, we've reached the end of the road. This is the end of the episode. And Fatal, you know, is the only other content creator on the stream. Before I go ahead and outro us, tell the good folks where they can find you.
Twitch.tv/PlaybookTV. Yeah, I am committing to myself that I am going to throw less matches, so especially if y'all are saying that the Iridium Storm has left, that means I'm just missing out on some higher quality Galaxy heroes. I should probably stop fucking doing that, so I'll be gunning for 9-0 next season, if I'm playing anywhere to my potential, then it shouldn't be too difficult, considering that my opponents didn't have like Great Mothers or Balin or Ahsoka this last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I'm like, yeah, I should be winning these. It's not really. Yeah.
Fair enough.
You know.
Fair enough, man.
Yeah. Twitch.tv/playbookTV. I will possibly be playing some games in the off season over the holidays.
I was gonna say, look me up. We got to do some Helldiving. The Illuminate. I found a build I love, man, and I am just knocking them down out there. It's good stuff.
Helldivers is in a pretty good spot right now. I've been practicing like driving around, but I think I'm a decently effective. I'm not like Baby Driver levels of shit yet, but I'm not crashing and flipping it that often. And so I'm like decently effective at getting us around.
That's real good. Yeah.
I'm
down for that.
Better than multiple people in my house in real life.
Fair.
I don't know. Might try some like Slay the Spire or some, or if anyone has recommendations over the holidays.
I don't know if you play any Black Ops 6 Zombies, but I've got there's a bunch of us who do that.
Ass dragged me kicking and screaming. I kid you not. Ask him how much work it took. He dragged me kicking and screaming into playing zombies.
I've had an easier time convincing my nonverbal 6-year-old. Yeah, I have. Thank you.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, if you have any interest at all in that, Fatal, Black Ops 6 is on sale right now, so something to consider. But yeah, otherwise, look forward to seeing you out there in Helldivers. All right, guys. If you're a regular viewer of the show, then you already know that to find me, you just go to twitch.tv/Tassinix. That is where I stream live. Of course, I do upload all my VODs with chapters added to for easy browsing to my YouTube, Tassinix Gaming. I also have some other Swig-related content over there that you will be interested, I'm sure. We've got the Datacron set guides now on set 18, and then for the brand new set 19, I'll be recording that here in the next few days. With Aesop Rock, the #1 Grand Arena player in the world, would have already had that video done, but he's been under the weather, and, we don't work in medical here. There's nothing so important that I do that we can't wait for him to feel better to make that video. So we'll get it to you soon, though. Also have the mod guide videos on characters and factions that you have been asking about. Just recently put out Balin Skull. Look for Shin and Marok very soon. Made the recent video on the GAC Omicron tier list, so that's up there. Whole bunch of other stuff like it, so check all that out. Appreciate you watching. And of course, naturally, the Plotting and Scheming podcast is on Spotify, gets repeated out to Google Podcasts. You could take the link in any episode you find, plug it into your preferred podcast program, and follow us that way. But otherwise, it does get repeated back out to YouTube as well. And of course, if you've enjoyed the show, you enjoy my channel, you want to support what's going on here, you can check out my Cash App that I made at you guys' request. That is $Tassinix. And of course, if you want to get something back and join my community, get some access to improved tools to raise your scouting game, gotta check out my Patreon. Patreon.com/Tassinix. Got to put up the words on the screen first.
I just want to say one more thing.
Sure, go ahead. Oh wait, your mic's not coming in. Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I got you.
Speak. I was going to say, and just like Fatal is cooking up something that will come in the new year, I know that here at PNS we are working on bringing you more content. So be on the lookout for that. And we'll have the race with Fatal to see who can put out their content last.
Meets expectations. That's fair. Okay. But check out my Discord because there are some benefits you might be interested in here. At $5 a month, you enter the Tass House at VIP access level. You get early access to the Plotting and Scheming podcast, which is coming out generally Friday mornings. My patrons are getting it Tuesday night generally, right, within hours of us recording. So helps them out for that first round of Grand Arena. In addition, you also get early access to the Datacron set videos and, of course, dedicated text and voice channel on Discord where you can usually find me lurking. Pop on in and say hi. Thank you so much to Andrew, Arj, DeadpoolCow28, JJ's Productions Twitch, Jobin4527, Johnny B. Ottawa, Miasmal, Musras, Rays Malvis, Sam Vimes, Squed, Stark Strategy Gamer, Sweens14, White Wolf, and Zoltre. Moving on up to the $10 a month tier, VIP Access Plus. That is a Patreon bundle for me and for OmegaBot. So if you watch my streams, at the start of each one, I pull a report from OmegaBot on my opponent, gives a powerful at-a-glance understanding of your opponent's offensive and defensive tendencies. Patrons can pull greater than the last 2 weeks of history to get a little more comprehensive background on their opponent. And you also get a downloadable HTML version of the report with links that you can click. Goes right back into swugga.gg or Insight. Get the details on the counters you're interested in. Thank you so much to Stryker, Esh Sotnikam, and Dobby. And at VIP Access Premium, that's $15 a month for the Double Bot bundle. So patron access to me, to OmegaBot, and to Hot Utils, the #1 tool for your mass mod management and loadout creation. Couple clicks moves you between Raid, TB, Grand Arena, TW. You can use it to remod your roster like Fatal and TJ do. You can cut through all of your mod inventory and slice it in seconds. Also can help in, some of your analysis for Grand Arena. Tons of functionality for TW. Lots of good stuff in there. Thank you so much to Duckstab, Darkhug, Ivanek, General Milan, Sir Boss, Quig, Wilco, and Frick Frack Paddywhack. At the top of the list, in Jester's Club Elite, the one, the only Nomad's Reaper. This man pops into stream from time to time, drops hundreds of subs, thousands of biddies, incredible generosity over the years, and here we are closing out another year. Thank you so much for all you've done, Nomads. All right, and of course, last but never least, our special thanks. First, to Yoda Force, one of my original supporters way back in the day back. Bought me the mic that I am speaking to you on right now, and even though he's long since quit the game, we wish him well from the other side. To Mrs. T, my wife, thank you for all of your work in the background, keeping our daughter from tearing apart our house, brick by brick, while I am trying to be halfway decent at a phone game. And of course, to my co-hosts here, I'm Plotting and Scheming, Dagger, TJ, Sasha Aisha, and Fatal. Gentlemen, this is our, I want to say, maybe, I don't know if it's our last episode for the year. We'll see what we're doing next week. I assume we'll talk a little bit about that when we close up shop here on the recording. But yeah, if this is our last recording of the year, what a great year it's been. We've had a lot of amazing shows, some excellent guests. And, we even managed to twist the arm of one of the guests to joining the show permanently. So it's been all right. It's been all right, guys. And, the show's done nothing but grow. The feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. We all learn from each other. Our community learns from us. Thank you guys so much for being part of this winning recipe. All right. Swinging back over to the main scene here. We're done. We've finished this season and pretty much the year. So when next we meet, we'll be talking, just before or just after the new year, a new season of 3v3 ahead of us, a new Datacron set. Lots to look forward to, lots to be thankful for. And until next time, it's been real. It's been awesome. It's been real awesome. Take care.